Yeah, hi there everybody. Sorry I've been away. I've had a bit of some personal problems, health problems, so I'm back now for a while and continue on with the little diatribes. I just really want to talk today about the income tax take and how the revenue break it down and in the statistics and make up tables etc. relating to it. And what I've done is I've put a little link down here for you. You can have it's the first little link, and it'll take you to the revenue commissioners. And this is for a chart from 2008. It's the most up-to-date chart, but it relates to the income for 2006, because obviously putting these charts together is quite a task, and they have to involve economists and various people put it together. So it's probably outside the normal parameters of the revenue commissioners. You know, that section would deal with just taking money in or whatever. But anyway, what you have to do is when you go to this, you have to go to page 6, and page 6 will reveal this particular table. And this particular table is the distribution of the number of incomes, the gross income charged, and the tax by range of gross income. And it's the most revealing because it's a macro view of Irish society and where the revenue gets its money from. And when you go to the bottom of that chart, you will see that it tells you for people who earn more than 275,000 euros per year, which is not an awful lot of money really, I suppose. It's 5,000 euros a week. They have it down as number of cases, and by cases they mean it's individuals, and you know, men and women sometimes put their tax together, so it's they call them cases. Okay, so it's individuals and people in marital status as couples, etc. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with companies here and corporations. This is just income tax. But as I said, it's very revealing. Go to the bottom end of it, we see that people who earn more than 275,000, there are 11,714 of them, and they earn, their income that they declare is 7.6 billion, and they pay tax of that of just over 2 billion, and that represents 17.5% of the total tax intake. Alright? But what they don't tell you is, and we did cover this in the last little snip, is that the Lady Revenue Commissioner, who's the CEO of the revenues, the first secretary I think she is, her name is Josephine Fahili, and she addressed the Dáil, one of the finance committees of the Dáil, in January of this year, and she told us that there were 6,000 people registered as tax exiles. Now, I would say the vast majority of those 6,000 would earn more than 275,000 euros a year. Okay, I would imagine they would. But she also said that within that 6,000, there were 440 people who she classed as being super rich. And these are people, you see, nobody tells you what that means, so you have to go outside Ireland to find out what that means. And when you go outside Ireland and you go to something like the Sunday Times Rich List, they put that on, they declare that it's people who earn more than 5 million a year. That's what they say. So, you know, they approximate it around that, as I say, somebody who earn 4 or 5 or 6 million. They're the super rich. And there are lots of people who earn a lot more. Now, what happens is that if you superimpose 6,000 people on top of this 11,700, that's more than 50% of those people. So you're talking about, if these original 11,700 give the income tax 2 billion, 2,000 million, then a whole group of people who represent a far higher income echelon, who don't fit into anywhere, who are tax exempt don't pay any money in our society. These are the elite of the elite. These are the super rich. Now, not all of the 6,000 would fit into the super rich category, but it's not outside the realms of possibility to believe that you could generate an income take from these people of $1 billion or $2 billion. That doesn't seem to me to be. Hugely. If you take 7 billion and you divide it by 6,000, that means they only earn $1 million. So, like I told you in the last little snip, there are lots of these people earn 50 million. There are lots of these people earn 30, 40, 50 million every year. More. That's a bad year for some of these people. So we've got to put all this into perspective, and if we want to resolve the problems that face Irish society at the moment, Irish society has to be seen for all the citizenry to be a fair place. And if it doesn't, if it's not, then you're going to have a huge black market. You're going to have people who don't want to pay their tax. You're going to have people who are disenfranchised, people who feel let down by society, people who have no regard for the state or its institutions, people who will just wash their hands of the whole thing, and the situation will deteriorate. It's not going to get better. So I think the ordinary man in the street, the ordinary citizen who's working and pays what he considers to be a fair amount of tax, sees 6,000 people who don't pay any tax at all, and a huge bulk of them fit into a super rich category, who earn more money in a week than a lot of these people could earn in a lifetime. And they don't make any contribution to Irish society at all. Well, what does that tell you about? What does that tell you about the equity within? What does that tell you about the credibility, about the morals of the society we live in, the so-called republic? Anyway, that's really all I want to say about that. The other thing I want to deal with is, again, where am I going to put it? Yeah, down here again. I'm going to put it down below, and it's the thing that I keep coming back to. It's the Central Statistics Office, and it's our external debt. The 30th of September 2009, so it's only a month old. Just what's fascinating about it is you can see that when you look it up, you'll see that our government indebtedness, which is the general government finances, have deteriorated hugely. Just in the 30th of September in 2008, we had general government borrowing of 51 billion, and with the Monetary Authority, which is a combination of the Central Bank and the National Treasury Management Agency, they had borrowings of 25 billion. And we see today that the central government, the general government has 72 billion, and the Monetary Authority's liabilities have increased by almost 80 billion, and it's 103 billion. So the total state indebtedness has almost tripled in less than a year, because this only goes up to the 30th of June 2009. And in the same period, the banks have managed to deleverage, have managed to pay back indebtedness of over 100 billion. So there's 100 billion has gone out of this Irish society. So that's the situation we find ourselves in. I would advise you to look at that. I think it makes very, very interesting, very, very interesting reading. The other thing that I want to deal with is, in the next little snip that I do, I want to deal with the law. I've been thinking a lot about the law over the last few weeks, and what it is, who it represents, and everything else. And I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to try and deal with it as best I can. In the interim, I'm going to try and be positive, because we're not looking into a very rosy period for Irish life and Irish society and the citizenry of our little republic. I think things are going to get really bad with the foreseeable future. But I'm trying to keep a brave face on it and trying not to concentrate too much on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign off now, and I'm going to get back to you tomorrow. And I just want to say I'm going to try and keep it as brief as I can. I just talk in general terms about the law and what I think of it. So, listen, thank you very much.